The first response we ever hear is, I could never do that. I could never, love a child and then send them home. And I always respond with, perfect, you would be an awesome foster parent. Because I think that is the best quality that you could have, that you could unconditionally love a child regardless of the outcome. I would say when we first were introduced to it, we knew nothing about foster care. I had never even heard of it, maybe in concept, but I didn't know what it was. And so it was something that we really had to just take one step at a time.
I was really shocked to hear the cases that are happening here in Lincoln, or just the support they don't have. And it's just unbelievable what's happening right here in our backyards, in our neighborhoods.
There's so many kids that need homes. And it doesn't mean that you have to be open to any placement and all placements. You can kind of decide what works best for you and your family. That's been a journey for us because it's not easy to be open to a situation where you have no control over, and you quite possibly will have to say goodbye. And so that's something that we have had to really just trust and rely on God that His plan is going to work out.
So we started with respite, which is just kind of helping out other foster parents over the weekends or when they're traveling. After a few of those, then you kind of start building up some courage, and then
some confidence.
Then we were a little more ready for a placement. So our first placement was actually an 8-year-old. Lucy was so excited to have a big brother, and she still refers to him as her brother. And ultimately, he ended up going back to his grandma, and for a while we had a relationship with him, and then he just wanted to kind of put that part of his life behind him, and which is hard. It's all a process, and I think we learned a lot, saw a lot of areas where we kind of could have done better.
None of us want to, open up our homes and our hearts and then have to say goodbye. Every time that we've allowed a child's come in and we've had to say goodbye, God prepared our hearts, and He was with us every step of the way.
Maggie was our second placement. We got a call for her. Annie was 6 months pregnant, so we were just like, this doesn't make sense. This
and it was
shouldn't
definitely
happen.
something, she was removed for medical neglect, and so we felt like this is what we're supposed to say yes, so we're going to. And obviously that's been the biggest blessing for our family, to be able to foster her and adopt her and have her, because it is, you never know how you're going to respond to a child that's not biologically yours, or how it's gonna go. Like, do I have enough love? Can I give enough? And I'm so thankful that we are in this journey, because it's given us so much. The moment that I looked in Maggie's eyes the first time, I knew I was gonna love her forever.
We got a call for another boy, and he's 3 years old. It's still chaos, but it's somehow all kind of meshing together, and just to see the belly laughs in the back seat with our kids, and he's just making us all smile and laugh, and it makes it all worth it. So.
And I drove up for the first time to meet him, and he was they opened the car door, and I looked at him, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I love you.
Yeah, it just fills you up, and then you just realize how intentional you have to be to kind of form the bond with them and take the extra time to, hold them. And I think it just makes us better parents and gives us even more capacity that you don't think's there.
It's just really neat to see how you can love another child even when you don't know what's going to happen, and you have only maybe known them for a few days, how quickly you can form a bond.
It's really unveiled God's love a lot more, just because understanding that adoptive love, that it's not this natural bond that you have with your biological children. It's this stuff you have to cultivate and keep working on. We just see all the blessings God's given us, and we don't want it to stop at our doorstep. We want it to keep flowing.
This is something, we want this to be a lifestyle of serving others and loving others, and just opening our home even when it's chaotic and it's messy. Just that this is what we're called to do. That God calls us to be His hands and feet, and to serve others and love others, and we don't always want to. There's been many times where we've wanted to say no, just pretend we didn't hear His voice. But it's really neat to see those twists and turns, and how they have really kind of shifted into a different picture, and a beautiful picture that we never ever could have imagined.
you.